There's one in the wall already. That was Hunter Engrave, another in the wall behind him. My goodness, the action has started here early. Caleb Bency will lead us to the green flag, putting lap 19 on the board. Oh, and there's one on the wall again. That's one of your points leaders right now. That's Nicholas Isidro, and he has heavy damage to the left front. And this is that same thing. He's going to get loose off of two. Wow, look, he was loose way before he got to the end of that turn. He tries to keep it down here on the apron, just isn't quite able to. And he is going to collect some drivers. Oh, my. That one's the 98 of Aldrich. And Christopher Kresge involved in this one as well. That's the 777. He usually makes it work. Oh, there's contact! Caleb Bency's in the wall. And the caution flies. Wow, there's a couple that nearly missed. Oh, yeah. He had a little bit of a disconnect here. Wheel just turns straight left as hard as it can. Oh my goodness, Rondoletto. I think him and Seeker. Oh, there he goes! Christopher Hill's in it as well. And I think that's John Kay that got a piece of it as well, but boy, heavy damage here for Octavio Rondoletto. Wagner already looking around the outside. Oh, man, he almost got to the outside wall. Now he crosses it over to the bottom. Oh, and he's loose. Trouble for Wagner. He's able to keep it clean. Through comes John Kay to second. Richter with a bit of a lead. John Kay looking to close the gap. Oh, there goes Richter. The caution flies. And I think it was a solo incident. I don't think he collected anybody else. The first overtime in Daredevil Series history. John Kay will lead us to the green here at Rockingham. Kay with a good start. There's one in the wall. He's able to corral it. I think we'll stay green here. Wagner looking to stay in tow. Siefker's gotten around Dakota DeMade. White flag is out. One to go. John Kay leads it down the backstretch. Wagner in tow. Siefker and DeMade seemingly out of the picture. Wagner's down on the apron out of turn number 4. He has a run. It's not going to be enough. John Kay is going to win his first ever Daredevil Series start here at Rockingham. Unbelievable. I have no words for how this night has unfolded. Tommy Cook is going to be disappointed that he missed this one.
For the very first time in series history, the drivers of the Daredevil series have packed up and gone over to the land of the rising sun. We are getting ready for our first of a 2-race swing here in Japan. Tonight's challenge is the 1.5-mile oval Twin Ring Motegi. It's wide and it's fast, and it is going to provide all sorts of challenges here tonight for the drivers of the Daredevil series right here on Turn 200. Howdy folks, my name is Tommy Cook. My partner Matt Williamson will be along here momentarily as we get ready for 75 laps around the Twin Ring Motegi Oval here tonight. We were just here a couple of weeks ago with the Venom Truck Series, but these guys here tonight will be hauling the mail upwards of 180 plus miles an hour here around the 1.5-mile Twin Ring Motegi Oval. Matt Williamson, when he comes along here, will tell you about some of the challenges we're expecting here tonight out of this track. But what I will tell you is Matt Williamson having the solo action last week at Rockingham, the highlights of which you just saw a few moments ago. That has shaken up the points just a little bit here, as Nicholas Isidro is showing the way here, 1,500 points. And remember, a drop week is already factored into these point standings, and it's actually the podium finishers from that race at Pocono to open the season that share the top 3 positions in points right here. Isidro in first, Watson in second, and the Cornfield kid Dakota DeMay, the Season 1 champion, in the 3rd position right now. You'll notice that a tie for 6th down there in his only start grabbed his first career win, John Kay. That is what this point standing can do, or this points rubric rather, can do for drivers who maybe miss a couple of races here this season. One big finish can catapult them into the conversation for the points lead here. And speaking of John Kay, he has kept the train rolling here. 3 races this season, 3 drivers have gotten their first career Daredevil Series victory. Will a 4th driver emerge to get their first career victory here tonight? There are plenty of contenders throughout the field that want it to be them. But there are also a couple of drivers, especially those higher up in the point standings here, that have won before that would love to grab another victory here tonight. Mainly James Watson and Dakota DeMay both have 2 victories apiece. A couple of other drivers scattered through the field that have been at the majority, if not every single race this season, that would love to get back to victory lane here tonight. And we've mentioned Dakota DeMay a couple of times here in the pre-race show. Why don't we mention him one more time, as he was the only driver after 100 laps at Rockingham last week to qualify himself for the Jacksonville Speedway Zero-Zero Challenge pot. And you know what? He's done it twice now in both of his starts at Pocono and now Rockingham. He has made himself eligible by finishing on the lead lap, aka 0 laps down, with a 0x incident count. That is the way you add yourself and $2 to the pot to be drawn at the end of the season. Will we add anybody after Twin Ring Motegi here tonight? I don't know. I really don't. This track is about 9 or 10 lanes wide, but, you know, the fast lanes are down there on the bottom. And as always, right rear tires are going to get hot. Things are going to get bobbled up through the turns. And the Daredevils do be daredeviling. There's only one way we're going to find out, though, and that is to get this field set and get them green. We'll be back here momentarily with some qualifying action as the Daredevil Series from Twin Ring Motegi is around the turn on turn 200.
A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Broken I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
This is the Daredevil series from Twin Ring Motegi, only on Turn 200.
We are in the closing moments of qualifying, I do believe. We've still got another 6 minutes to go, but just about everybody has hit the track here and put up a time. I think 2 drivers on track right now, Christopher Kresge and Nate Siefker. I think Kresge has just crossed the line to put up his final lap, which was good enough for 12th quickest. Nate Siefker coming down the front straightaway and across the line. He is going to jump up, I believe, to 4th on his final lap here. Matt Wagner and now Hunter Engrave getting ready to hit the track. They should be the final 2 drivers to post the time here in qualifying. Well, well, I think I kind of lied to the drivers a little bit. Maybe not intentionally, but it's going to end up being a lie, I think. I said which I did. I worked really hard on this set to try and keep the right rear temperature down, to maybe stop some of the self-spins. Practice? No, definitely not.
Well, I guess the only kind of saving grace here is there's a little bit more room for error here at Twin Ring Motegi as opposed to Rockingham last week. I think Rockingham, there's really nowhere to go. The banking there just filters you to one spot basically. I think here at Twin Ring, there's a little more room for error, a little more room to play with when you're spinning. So hopefully that saves a few cars here tonight.
Top of the board, Matt Wagner on his opening lap. His second lap was slower, but Matt Wagner right now on provisional pole. And we had 22 drivers. Now it is 23. As Christian Arribas has just joined the session, so he will be the last holdout here. The other driver that was on track, Hunter Engrave, 3rd quickest. And don't want to call it prematurely. We still may have 1 driver to go here. But look who is back in the field here tonight. Not only that, look who is provisionally on row 5.
It is Mr. Row 5 himself.
Unbelievable. And he has been sending us his picks throughout the season. Of course, week 1, he picked James Gandolfini. In the 3rd race, he picked Roger Francisco, of course, the creator of the famed FitnessGram Pacer test. And tonight, he has picked his DoorDash driver, Norma. And Norma right now fighting an uphill legal battle after being arrested on the job.
No!
All the best to Norma here tonight. You've got Matt Short in your corner, that's for sure. That's... you never know what to expect. We also haven't known when to expect Matthew Short to join us here. And he's here tonight for the first time this season. I am very excited to have him back in the field here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he always puts on a great show. We've seen him, we've seen him take some pretty wild spills in his time in the Daredevil series, fighting for the lead and for podium finishes. So I expect nothing short of that tonight.
Oh, boy. All right, so now we have Christian Arribas on the track. Time trial time for driver number 45. Made his debut a couple of weeks ago at Lime Rock Park. Ended up finishing the race. That was a lot of... something that a lot of the drivers after Lime Rock Park could not say. But that 45 is on track here and getting ready to... get after it down the back straightaway here. While we got a second here, let's take a couple of looks at, or let's take a look at what we're expecting from tonight's race, maybe the things to keep our eyes on, and the weather conditions around the beautiful, apparently Mobility Resort Motegi is now what this track is called, but it's not called that in the stem, so.
Yeah, well, what we have going on here tonight, we'll go ahead and take a look at the weather while Christian's out here trying to put a good lap together. 98 degrees on the track temperature, so I mean, that's not real hot, but it's not real cool either. So we already mentioned it. We mentioned it every race at this point. The right rear getting hot is going to be an issue here tonight, regardless really of the track temperature, if we're being totally honest. There are 75 laps here tonight, 25% fuel capacity, which gives us about 30 to 35 laps if we can make it there. If last week at Rockingham is anything to go by, we probably cannot. And there are unlimited tires, which really don't come into play either. 0 fast repairs. That is the biggie here in the Daredevil series.
Breaking news. We now have a 24th driver. And it is another driver making their first appearance in Daredevil 2.0. It is the one and only Crusher Lusher.
Unbelievable. He always comes in right at the last second, and glad to see the tradition stays alive here in the Daredevil series, the 2.0 version, if you will.
So hopefully he can make the starting grid here, because we're about 10 seconds from getting on the grid. But and he's been known to maybe start the race a few laps late. So we'll keep our eyes out for the 808 Neil Lusher, who is joining us here tonight for the first time this season. One of 2 drivers making their first appearance of the season here tonight at Twin Ring Motegi, where we're getting ready for 75 laps around this 1.5-mile oval. And with his first career pole in the Daredevil series, newcomer Matt Wagner. He is tied for 3rd in the points coming into tonight, and he is going to lead the field to green. The season 1 champion of the Daredevil series, Dakota DeMade. He is tied with Matt Wagner for that 3rd position in the points. He starts in 2nd here tonight. Winner at Lime Rock Park a couple of weeks ago. He's got some support in the chat here tonight. Shout out to EJ for hanging out with us here, and shout out to Hunter Engrave, who's starting in 3rd. Podium finisher there from Lime Rock, and wrecked from the lead last week at Rockingham, Caleb Bency starting in 4th. Christopher Hill then on the inside of row number 3 with Nate Siefker, another podium finisher from last week at Rockingham, starting to his outside. Nicholas Cisidro, Pocono winner and your current points leader, starting in 7th, with Ty Richter starting to his outside here tonight. James Watson and Mr. Row 5 himself, Matthew Short, on the outside of row number 5. All things are right in the universe. Zachary Flaum with the 11th starting position. Steve Froman back in the field here tonight, starting in 12th. Then row number 7 on the inside is Sean Begley. To his outside is Christopher Kresge. On row number 8 on the inside, Kirk Lane is back in the field here tonight, as is Cody Claiborne starting in 16th. Logan Spath and Ryan Dye then 17th and 18th. Charles Grove, top 10 in his comeback effort last week, starts in the 19th position. Victor Aldrich back in the field here tonight as well in 20th. Paul Elson and Ben Carswell then on row number 11, and the last 2 drivers to join the session, Christian Arribas starting in 23rd, and hopefully Neil Lusher in 24th. Maybe the first time that I've got the whole grid done before they start rolling.
Yeah, and that's we have quite a few drivers tonight too. So you you really rock and rolled through that one.
Cars are rolling. Like you mentioned, hot right rear tires. We've seen it at every single oval this season. There will be a couple of races here coming up soon on oval tracks that won't be at least a primary concern. In particular, Michigan and Chicagoland. Hopefully, we will see none of that. But that is not going to be the name of the game here tonight.
No, certainly not. I mean, I fear that it's going to be a little bit like last week, a little bit of a war of attrition. And, I mean, there's some drivers here that probably learned quite a few things. I mean, we have quite a few drivers that are new to this series, so they were probably able to learn something last week and maybe apply it to what's about to happen here at the Twin Rings. So, it's about time to get to it, partner.
Like you said, it might be like last week at Rockingham in the sense that these guys are going to be slipping and sliding, but there's about 7 more lanes to work with here. As we are green, the Daredevils are on the move at Twin Ring Motegi.
And we are starting early. Caleb Bency takes it 3 wide into turn 1.
Dakota DeMay from the outside pole up into the gray. He is already back 6 spots, it looks like, as, Matt Wagner a little bit loose as there goes Engrave to the outside. 3 wide, 4 wide for second on the opening lap. Oh my goodness. Nate Siefker from 6th to 3rd with that bold move. Back to the line this time. Wagner leads by a nose over Hunter Engrave.
Look at them all fan out down the front stretch. Unbelievable.
Goodness gracious. Here goes Siefker now underneath of Wagner for second as Engrave has moved himself up to the top spot. Three wide again for the lead. Siefker sticks it in there on the bottom. Oh, and is loose! Big trouble. Siefker, Wagner. Somebody else just piled in there. I think that might have been Ty Richter. Cody Claiborne's going to get a piece of this as well. And the caution is out on lap 2.
Oh,
man.
My.
I saw a little bit of smoke. I thought maybe it was a smoke monster, but Nate Siefker just sent it around there.
Well, he certainly sent it. I mean, he made a hell of a move.
Well, I mean, the car sent it on him.
But we're gonna take a look here at Siefker. He dives into turn number 3 to take the lead here. And you can see him, the rear tire is stepping out on him a little bit right in the middle of turns 3 and 4 already. He tries to back off of it, and as he slows down, he pulls up in front of, I'm not sure who that is. That's Engrave, and then gets hard into Wagner. Engrave might have a little damage here as well.
I would imagine he would.
And then you're right, Ty Richter, I mean, he gets hard into turn 4 wall. Plows right into Wagner. And I think everybody else pretty much stays clear. I don't know how, because these cars move at a quick pace, and they are hard to get slowed down. But I think everybody else stayed clear.
It's all that room you've got to work with here. That does help.
Yeah, the turns are much wider and a little bit easier to maneuver under low speed, that's for sure.
So I think 4 drivers stayed out here under the caution. Actually, make it 5, I do believe. Caleb Bensey, Christopher Kriske, Kirk Lane, shocker, Neil Lusher, right back to it. And maybe Nicholas Cedro did pit, actually. So it's the top 4 that stayed out. Isidro leads Hill, Watson, Short, Flaum, and Begley off of pit road. They should be the rest of your top 10 here.
Wow. And one thing that does, I mean, Wagner was a huge player in the game last week at Rockingham. Engrave has been huge so far this season as well. And then obviously Nate Siefker is always a threat here in the Daredevil series. And all 3 of them, well, at least 2 of them get taken out here. Not quite sure on Engrave yet, but still in the pits right now. So,
well, the good news for him is he does not have a meatball flag. Nate Siefker, Ty Richter do. So did Matt Wagner. He is already disconnected. So, much like his Lime Rock Park outing, it is cut very, very short here tonight. Neil Lusher, I think, missed the commitment cone. Either that or passed a car and has picked up a black flag. So Engrave will indeed, I believe. Actually, no, I thought he was going to sacrifice a lap and get all the damage repaired, but I think he made it off pit road before that happened. So a wild opening sequence there, and Caleb Bensey actually had gotten to the lead before the caution came out with everybody checking up. So Bensey took the lead outright just as the caution flag was flying, and now does not pit and will stay out here. Be in control of the field now with Christopher Kriske and Kirk Lane. 2 more drivers that did not stay out. Nicholas Cedro, the first one off of pit road, is in 4th. Christopher Hill behind him in P5. As the pace truck hangs to the left, we're going back to green here on lap 6. 70 laps to go. Bensi already starting to snake here. Bensi on defense here, side by side for third. Holy cow. I think that's Kirk Lane that got up right on the wall there. And up to the lead. There goes Thug Daddy.
Wow, unbelievable. Christopher Kresge, the originator, up to the lead.
Can he hang on to it for much longer, though? I think a little bit out of shape there on the bottom of 1 and 2. Still has that bottom lane here through 3 and 4. And will lead the field back to the line once again. Isidro now battling to the outside of Bensi.
Wow, look at that run that Isidro gets off of turn 4. He ran it wide that entire corner through turns 3 and 4.
Another big run. Here comes Christopher Hill to the outside.
And right back to it, major players in the series right up to the front, even though a couple of them have been taken out already, and one of them is absent. Octavio Rondoletto not here this week. If everybody remembers the issue he had last week running up towards the front, put on a heck of a show for us and is now absent. So things are not looking good for a championship reclamation, if you will.
Around the outside, Christopher Hill. Right back down to the bottom. Yeah, Rondoletto, I think, has got some important life things going on, but said he's happy to race when he can and will always be a threat to get up front. He's proved that this season. It's just a matter of staying up front that he's had problems with, as we are 3 wide for the lead.
Wow, and look at how far Hill pushes up the track. And now here comes seemingly everybody else right on their heels. About 12 cars here in the pack.
Most everybody had lost the draft. Kirk Lane started to fall back a little bit. Matt Short sniffed it and brought everybody with him. As, yes, this is a lot of people in a lot of different lanes. A lot of room to work with here, but everybody going to be jockeying for the same real estate. As Bensi and Hill working side by side for the lead. They are 3 wide for third. 3 wide just behind them as well.
And we are going to see some bump drafting here. Yes, I said it. Bump drafting in this winged open wheel car. It's possible, and it happens.
3 wide for the lead. Isidro all the way up on the outside wall. Hill has the momentum. Bensi has the preferred line here on the bottom.
Wow.
So this is the top 11 cars here. Is out of shape. I didn't see who that was. Clipped the apron and held on to it. The top 11 cars here have broken away. Everybody else pretty much back to 12th to 18th is in their own little pack here, but well behind this group. There's a big checkup on the restart.
And there's somebody here in the pack we haven't really talked about much this year. I don't know if he hasn't made every race or just hasn't had very good luck. Logan Spath sitting back here in 8th, now 7th. He certainly knows how to get around an oval here in the Daredevil series. Good to see him back up here fighting for the lead in this lead pack.
Here goes, I believe, Zachary Flaum underneath for the lead. Roots Bensi up off the bottom.
Whoa!
And
he's
loose!
around!
How did nobody go with him? The caution is out. I think Bensi did pick up some damage there, but how did nobody go with him?
I don't know. He went around quite literally right up the track in front of second and third.
right after a very bold move.
And that is exactly what we saw from Siefker. You enter on the bottom, and if you try to get in the gas too quickly, you just have a lot of trouble. We'll take a replay here.
And man, that is a major bummer for Zachary Flaum. He could have won at Pocono. Ended up getting tangled up with Isidro and some netcode and was jockeying for the lead here again when this happened.
So we're 3 wide coming into turn 3. He enters turn number 3. He's kind of already loose right on the entry. And as he tries to get back in the throttle, comes up the track, loses the rear end, comes straight up across, makes contact with Bensi, and he's into the wall, doing a good job of trying to lock the brakes down. Luckily, the rest of the field had passed, and there's a huge gap back to the second pack, so nobody else really involved in this. We'll have to see how much damage Caleb Bensi has.
He does come down pit road this time. Remember, he did not come down the first time. Remember, these tires don't really wear as much as they just get hot. So tires, not really a necessity. You'll see some drivers elect to take them, some drivers not. Bensi, I believe, did go up on the jacks that time. Didn't really stick around for a whole lot of damage, so maybe just a Phantom 4 there. But again, I don't know how. I don't know how anybody picked up a Phantom anything, because that was right in everybody's lap, and everybody did an amazing job of not overreacting and making the situation worse than it was. Unfortunately, meatball flag, of course, for Zachary Flaum, and he is already disconnected from the session. He is going to join, I believe, Ty Richter, Matt Wagner, and Nate Siefker as the drivers who are at least off the track, if not out of the race entirely. I believe Matt Wagner is maybe the one that is actually left the session so far. So maybe Siefker and Richter waiting to get some repairs done here and pick up a couple of spots.
And Engrave with an extended stay in the pits here. Remember, he was in that first little incident, and I say little, it was a pretty big incident with Siefker. Siefker starting that one, so still trying to get some damage fixed, and he's actually going to maybe go a lap down here. Oh, nope, here he goes.
Oh. Just beats the pace truck there. So let's reset the field here for you. I think the lights are off on the pace truck here. So we'll be coming back to green on lap 18, working our second caution already. Christopher Hill showing the way with now Steve Vroman and Paul Ellison, second and third. The Venom Truck Series boys up on the podium spots right now. Cody Claiborne in fourth, and Ryan Dye now rounds out your top 5. Christopher Kresge is in the 6th position. Nicholas Isidro in 7th. Caleb Bensi was leading there when that caution came out. He is back to 8th now. Matthew Short still in the top 10 in 9th, and Logan Spath in 10th. James Watson, Kirk Lane, Sean Begley, Ben Carswell, and Victor Aldrich right now your top 15. Dakota DeMade, Neil Lusher, Christian Arribas, Hunter Engrave, and Charles Grove, the 20 drivers that are not only on the lead lap, but also left running at this point. And again,
the lights are on the pace truck, I believe, so we are going to have one more round.
Victor Aldrich has just asked for an EOL. I'm not sure why. Happy to give him one. To your point, sorry. Go ahead.
No, well, I think he had an extended stay in the pits a little bit earlier, so may have found the wall. Might think he's going to be a little bit slow on the restart, just trying to make it a little bit easier for the drivers here.
Now that I could pull up the stat book and not potentially throw the field into disarray, Logan Spath, to your point earlier, I believe has made one start this season, and it was at Lime Rock Park. I think he got caught up in that fracas at the start of the race, so we didn't really get to see what Logan Spath could do. And like you said, especially in the Schaefer's U.S. Open Wheel C-Class Series, was always a guy that you could expect to see up at the front, or at least battling inside of the top 10. So it's always a pleasure to have him and a lot of the other Race First guys come along and race with us here tonight. Of course, Caleb Binsey in the field, and maybe we've got one of the Race First guys in the chat hanging out with us here tonight. Let us know if you are. Let us know if you're Race First or not, whether you're hanging out with us or not. Be sure to hit us up in the comments. Let us know who you're rooting for here tonight, as we've still got quite a ways to go here. These drivers have proved that they are itching to get after it here.
Yeah,
Christopher
itching
Hill.
is a
Yeah.
subtle word.
Lindsey Johnson, I believe, cheering for Hunter Engrave here tonight as well. We are coming back to the green, lap 19. Good restart here for Christopher Hill. Puts a couple of car lengths between he and second place Steve Vroman.
And speaking of Hunter Engrave, he had that incident, has had to repair some damage here. Something that's really important, not only for him, but all of the drivers here, so you don't either lose the top 10 or if you can try to get in this top 10. The restarts are very, very important in these cars. If you don't get a good one, you can lose the rest of the pack, and you're basically a sitting duck until the next caution comes out.
That's exactly what we saw last time around with 12th on back. We're over 6 seconds behind the lead pack when that caution came out. So it was a much-needed caution for those guys. Draft range, an effective draft range here would probably be around a second. But really, if you're outside of about 6/10, you're really going to be working for it to get up to the car in front of you. As they are 3 wide, I think that's Nicholas Isidro caught in the middle of the sandwich there. They sort of get themselves sorted out. Isidro behind Matt Short now, I believe, in the 8th position. As up front, Christopher Hill's got his hands full. Here comes Steve Vroman, the 00, looking for the lead here. It'll be Hill at the line, but Claiborne and Vroman are there. There goes Claiborne to the inside of Vroman. Wheel to wheel on the inside of 1 and 2.
Wow, that is a tight battle, still tight.
Woo!
Roman goes up to the top, pulls in
Goes
front
Hill.
of Christopher Hill, and Hill does a little crossover to the middle.
Christopher Kresge, actually, rather, that's Caleb Binsey, just got a huge run. Slots himself into 4th now. As Hill working over Steve Vroman. Vroman trying, I don't know if he was going for a bump draft, looking for some real estate, but man, they are touching wheels. Oh, boy. Roman tucks that front wing right underneath of the 101. And here goes Binsey.
And there's that bump draft we talked about just a little bit earlier. Claiborne sends it 3 wide on the outside.
Vroman slots back into line. He goes from battling for the lead to battling for 4th now, as here goes Claiborne back to the outside of Hill for the race lead. Christopher Kresge has moved himself up into the mix here as well.
And here comes James Watson.
Quiet as a mouse up to this point, but James Watson is always the one to watch to get up to the front in the oval. But Binsey back to the outside here, trying to work over the 101 for the race lead. Oh boy, Cody Claiborne, all sorts of out of shape behind Binsey. If you keep rocking on those rear tires like that, eventually you're going to have to pay the price.
Claiborne's going to get a push from Vroman. He'll go. He's on the outside. There's contact.
There he
goes.
goes. Claiborne again, or rather Claiborne around in 3 and 4. And Caleb Binsey picked up a 2X off of that. So is that another phantom incident? Luckily for Binsey, we don't run the incident limit on the ovals. Otherwise, he might actually be in trouble.
Well, there was certainly some contact between the two of them. It wasn't insignificant.
We will take another look here. As I just mentioned, not one straightaway ago, that Cody Claiborne was rocking on those rear tires pretty hard.
Well, he was rocking. He got a huge push down the backstretch from Steve Roman, and he couldn't really make up his mind, it seemed, where he wanted to go. Actually, there's neck code contact with Bensy.
Well,
let's take another look here. I mean, they are racing close, but it doesn't seem like there was going to be contact, but there's some neck code contact. And actually, Christopher Hill's car behaved a little bit weird there as well. I'm wondering if the neck code was actually between Hill and Bensy.
interesting.
Really, really strange, but Claiborne is going to get the worst of the incident here. He goes around straight into the wall through turns 3 and 4. Yeah, really strange. We saw one of those last week as well at Rockingham. So, when you're battling this close with cars like this, it just happens every once in a while.
We had a few tankers on pit road that time. James Watson, Paul Ellison, Ryan Dye, Dakota Domain, Victor Aldrich, Christian Arribas, Neil Lesher, Charles Grove, and Hunter Engrave, I think, on to maybe get a little bit more damage repaired.
And you just mentioned somebody in that pit stop that has come to pit on every incident here and actually came in twice on one of them. That's Dakota Domain. He's been in the pits 4 times already. I haven't called his name out. I'm not sure if he's just kind of waiting back and biding his time, or if he's kind of gotten caught up with some bad restarts and hasn't been able to get to the front of the pack. But he's starting 11th here, which should put him in a decent spot to keep up with the leaders. So we'll see what he chooses to do here.
Domain has got 2 entries right now into the Jacksonville Speedway Zero-Zero Challenge, so laying back, staying out of trouble, that's been his MO so far this season, and you know what? It's got him a podium finish and a 4th place finish in his 2 starts so far, so I'd say keep on keeping on. He started on the outside pole, immediately fell back to 6th in the opening set of corners, and then, like you said, has just been real quiet since then, but sometimes that's what it takes.
Well, I mean, you look back at last week, that's exactly what we saw with John Kay, somebody that wasn't really there at the beginning of the race. He mentioned in the strategy, he kind of asked us what to expect. We told him to expect some chaos. Maybe it's a good idea to just wait and see, especially since he's not very experienced in this car, obviously. It's exactly what he did, and he was there at the end and was able to get it done. So maybe DeMay thinking to do a little bit of the same. There's no bonus points in this series, so really no benefit to running up front other than some track position, but you got to make it work, and you got to make it to the end.
We're coming to lap 29 here. And again, fuel window 30 to 35, so definitely going to need one more stop here despite all the cautions. %, fuel capacity because these fuel tanks are 33 Imperial gallons. That is that's a bit big.
That's
a little big.
That's a lot of fuel. That's a lot of Sunoco racing fuel.
Definitely. Well, we got a second here. Let's tell the people what we got coming up next week, because next week is going to be our first Triple Dipper week. It's going to be pretty busy. Next week is the debut at New Hampshire for the Venom Truck Series. So the Venom Truck Series on for the, I believe, the Fast Tracks. No, it's the Flat Tracks, Fast Laps, and Flapjacks 155. Presented by the Pancake Cabin of Kodak, Tennessee, of course.
That's a mouthful.
Yes. So that's on Tuesday night. Next week, probably the most traditional race you're going to see ever in the Daredevil series. Suzuka is what's on tap for the Daredevils next Wednesday night. And then it is the actual points-paying debut of Maximum Velocity Racing League on Thursday nights. Some Thursday night trucking at the new Atlanta Motor Speedway. We're going to kick it off with a bang. So that's the 3 races that we got for you next week. It's going to be a wild one. And it's going to be a wild one here as we're back to green.
Oh, there's a huge checkup, like right around 5th or 6th on the start.
A little bit spread out from Vroman to short and backwards from there. But Christopher Hill with another great restart. Caleb Bency and Christopher Kresge battling for second.
Well, we talked about how crucial the starts were, and that was a pretty hectic one. We've had pretty, decently tame restarts up to this point, but that one almost got bad, and it could have gotten bad in a hurry.
Kresge, almost like you would do at a super speedway, laying back to get the run with Steve Vroman to try and catch up to Bency.
Well, Vroman has kind of showed his hand here. He's really content just staying behind somebody on the outside lane, or the second lane, I guess. And he's content with pushing, not really making too crazy a move so far. He actually pushed Claiborne into the incident, not any fault of Vroman's, of course, but Claiborne had a huge head of steam going into that corner and ultimately met his demise.
Here's a big head of steam right here for Bency. Right back to it on the bottom, right back to the lead. I think as the run goes on, the outside line in 3 and 4 is really going to not be an option. I think Cody Claiborne kind of proved that. It's once you get up in the gray there, it is hard to keep your car in check. Unfortunately, Claiborne found that out the hard way as Hill is back up to lead. Kresge underneath the Bency for second. And now Kresge looking for the lead.
And another huge push off the 0-0.
Who would have thunk? It's going to be Hill at the line. And is the 101 going to get clear? No. 3 wide.
And with the battling here, there are a lot of cars that I think will be
problems
capable.
In the back. Isidro, Spath, Lane, Watson in the mix here as well. 424 was the first one I saw go around. I think he is going to pick up a meatball flag, and we are under caution again.
Wow. And just as that was happening, I think all of those cars were in a position to get to the lead pack, and it was going to be a big one. Obviously, we'll have to redo a restart, and who knows what's going to happen. We'll try to take a look back here and see what happens with the Isidro. Oh, he gets down right by the white line in turn 1. He doesn't have a lot of room to work with and ends up going around. I'm trying to figure out who this is. Oh, and it's Logan Spath, I think. So Spath, didn't give him a lot of room, but didn't really squeeze him too bad either. But Isidro carries a lot of speed here into turn 1 and then kind of drifts up the track. Doesn't really have anywhere to go. A little bit of net code, but not really too bad. Gonna send Spath. Oh, yeah, Spath hits the wall pretty hard.
Yeah, meatball for the 3, meatball for the 424.
And there were a couple of drivers really caught up in this. Kirk was one of them as well. You mentioned Watson.
Watson, I think, is just going to get a little bitty piece of it trying to avoid, I think, is all. So I don't think it's too bad for the 39, but back in real time here. Sorry, go ahead.
Did a little 50-50 board slide up there on the fence for quite a while.
He hit triangle to grind. That's never what you want to do here in the Daredevil series. Just about everybody has hit pit road here, with the exception of, I believe, Christopher Kresge has stayed out. Christopher Hill has stayed out. Matthew Short, Ben Carswell, and Sean Begley. Those are the 5 drivers to stay out. Kresge was in the lead when the caution came out, so he's getting some laps led here. And it is great. I tell you, fantastic to see that 777 up front here. For anybody that doesn't know, Kresge was the OG, the originator of the original RIL Daredevil series. When RIL shifted their focus away from sim racing and more into media aggregation for motorsports, we got his blessing to continue what is pretty far and away, no offense to any of the other series that we do, but our favorite thing to broadcast by far is the Lotus 79 series that is now, I guess, ours, but through adoption.
Well, you don't have to look too closely to figure out why. I mean, this is Turn 200 at its best. Just nothing but all-out, flat-out chaos and good wheelmanship, too. I mean, it takes a lot of skill to drive these cars, but good Lord, the show they put on is unbelievable.
And it's great to see Kresge up front, showing the way here. Remember, I believe he finished 4th in the very first Daredevil race at Atlanta, which was one of the crazier ones that we've had here on the channel. We've raised the bar a couple of times since then, but it's always hard to forget your first, that's for sure. But
definitely, we have race first here in the YouTube chat. Classic Nicholas Isidro laying it all on the line.
Well, yep. It's the 424, the points leader here tonight. Unfortunately, him and Lucas Bath are out of this race. They join Cody Claiborne, Zachary Flaum, Ty Richter, and Matt Wagner out of the race. Nate Siefker is in 24th in the final position, but is still here with us in the pits getting repairs done. So maybe we see that too back out on track here. You can still pick up a few spots. It's only lap 38 right now, or at least we're coming to lap 38. And restarted on lap 39. I don't know why it gives us one more lap than we really need here. But a couple of these drivers that are going to be close to the fuel number here are probably going to take advantage of this. I believe Victor Aldrich and Hunter Engrave, indeed. And Neil Lusher says he has gone... He went a lap down because he had to answer the doorbell.
Well, I don't think he's a lap down any longer.
I just don't think it showed up that he has gone a lap down here.
Yeah.
But he is definitely in the pits and has yet to cross the line here. So, but the good news for him is that with the next caution, because, you know, there will be another one, he'll get the lucky dog. So he'll be back on the lead lap and ready to get after it again. So it is Christopher Kresge, Christopher Hill, Matthew Short, Ben Carswell, Sean Bagley, your top 5. Steve Roman, Caleb Bensey, Ryan Dye, James Watson, and Paul Ellison now your top 10. Dakota DeMade has the purple lap of the session right now. He is back in 11th. Christian Arribas in 12th. Charles Grove in 13th. Hunter Engrave in 14th. Victor Aldrich in 15th. Kirk Lane and Neil Lusher, your survivors of this race up to this point. Back to green. Kresge going to be under fire here from Christopher Hill for the lead. Short and Carswell battling for third behind him as Hill's got a wing out in front into turn number 3. Kresge fighting back on the inside.
And it has been a revolving door of players up here towards the front of the field, but two of them that have not revolved at all. That's Christopher Kresge and Christopher Hill, 1 and 2 as we speak, but here comes Matt Short on the bottom.
Short getting into the mix here, taking after his DoorDash driver Norma and putting the pedal to the metal. Short on the bottom, a wing out in front, out of turn number 4. Short is going to be back in front of the Daredevil series. You love to see it. Throws the block on Kresge. Kresge finds room underneath. 3 wide again for the lead. Kresge back out in front.
Oh, my.
Short. Oh, boy. Carswell. Oh,
That's Bagley.
Begley again. The caution is out. I keep saying again, I keep throwing the cautions expecting there to be big pileups here. And these guys are doing such a good job not making the situation any worse. So probably a couple of these don't need to be cautions, but I'm just erring on the side of caution here tonight, trying to keep as many drivers in this race as possible.
No, I think anytime there's an incident like that, it's certainly worthy. There was a huge checkup right at the front of the field.
Yes.
And Begley is going to get the worst of it. I didn't quite see who got into him, but we're going to take a look here.
I didn't see who got into him, but I believe Begley and the driver behind him were reacting to Ben Carswell in front of them. Carswell gets a little bit off the gas as he's working behind Short and Hill, and then the stack-up sort of happens behind that.
Yeah, well, Matt Short, I think he gets a little loose out of turn number 2.
He definitely does.
Yeah, Hill checks up, and then Carswell checks up, and then Begley has nowhere to go right behind him. Bensi tries to make a move to the outside and clips Begley in the right rear. So Bensi is the one that got into Begley, and Begley hits the outside wall pretty hard.
It is a meatball for the 59 here tonight, unfortunately, for Sean, I believe, making his 3rd start of the season here tonight. An 8th place at Lime Rock Park is his best outing so far. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to match or top that here tonight. It's a shame. He had just started making a little bit of noise and working his way up through the field here tonight, but this is not meant to be here tonight at Twin Ring Motegi for the 59. Some takers on pit road that time, including the race leader, Christopher Kresge.
Almost everybody came in, and not quite everybody. There were...
Not a 50-50 split, I'd say.
I think there were 6 cars, maybe 5 cars that stayed out that are on the lead lap here.
We're only a couple of cautions away from 6 cars being a 50-50 split.
But I don't know if this is incorrect, but I'm showing Matthew Short last came to the pits on lap 15.
Interesting.
So,
a few cautions scattered in there as well.
Yeah, but he's definitely going to have to come in one more time. I feel like this was the one to do it, because I think this is the one where you come in now and you can make it till the end. And I'm not sure he can really make it a whole lot longer on this fuel tank. I mean, it's going to be right at about 30 laps on this tank.
Corroborating what you're saying here. Last time on pit road for Matthew Short, according to my sim app, is lap 15. Ryan Dye and Neil Lusher have just come down to top off. I don't know why Neil Lusher didn't get... Maybe he went 2 laps down, and so he got the lucky dog and went 1 lap down. Because he did come out on track right as the field was coming by him, taking the green flag. So, Crusher Lusher right now, I believe the only driver that is on the racetrack 1 lap down. Sean Begley also showing 1 lap down, but of course he is probably going to be out of the race. And we maybe held out some hope here tonight that a little bit of extra room to work with would mean a few less crashes, or at least some drivers having some more room to maneuver and save their cars. That has not proven to be the case thus far.
No, it hasn't, unfortunately. But I mean, we still have 15, and really, if we have another caution, and still probably be 15 cars on the lead lap.
Yep.
So I mean, nothing too terribly crazy, but certainly not exactly what we were hoping for. But I mean, really not bad. I'm not sure it gets any worse than 2 cars on the lead lap at the end of Rockingham last season. Or the first season, that is.
Lights off on the pace track here, so we'll be coming to a restart on lap 46. So well over halfway in this one, if my math is correct, which I think it is. Oh, boy. Matthew Short, who we have yet to see here before tonight, this season. He's back with us. He's leading the field. he has got quite a few podium finishes, if I am not mistaken, to his credit. I believe 4 third-place finishes. 2 of those, actually 3 of those, have come on ovals. So we maybe don't think of Matt Short as an oval guy. He loves the road courses. He's quite good at them, but he's had some great, stellar, iconic, if you will, oval runs in his Daredevil career.
Yeah, not only oval runs, triangle runs as well. He's had a couple good ones. So,
yes.
Yeah, certainly knows how to get it done at the high speeds.
It's his 3 podium finishes on ovals: Indianapolis, Pocono, and Phoenix. So many shapes and sizes. And add this one to the mix, whatever you call this. See if he can finish it off here. Coming to lap 46. 30 to go.
And the snake begins.
Pretty well single file through the field here. Hunter Ingram is just hit.
There's contact between Hill and Carswell coming out of turn 2. No incident, but man, that was could have been ugly.
Hunter Engrave is just hit that he's pitting on the sim, but he did not pit, so maybe trying to fake somebody out, I guess. I'm confused about that. Steve Roman and Matthew Short, I'm sure, have never met before right now.
Well, we talked about it earlier today. Steve Roman didn't seem in a hurry to get to the front, but now here he goes into turn 3.
He has been all business, and so has Dakota DeMade now. He is here. Roman clear on Shorts. Dakota DeMade now sneaking underneath of the 35. And Paul Ellison is pulling up on this battle as well, bringing Kresge and Hill back into the mix. Oh, boy, tight there between Roman and DeMade.
Oh, and Short.
3 wide.
He goes wide through turn 4, gets a huge run down in here to turn 1.
He was short at the line on the outside by 1/1000th of a second, but DeMade has the positioning here on the...
Oh!
Uh-oh. That's a big one. Oh, my. Roman hard into the fence. James Watson, DeMade... Matthew Short still rolling, but he picked up some damage in that one for sure. That was ugly.
And Ellison smashed up against the outside wall, barely running.
Man. I tell you what, Paul Ellison can't buy luck this season. He has been caught up in everything.
Oh, okay, let's take a look. DeMade is right there. He's actually below that white line. He gets a little bit loose. And him and Vroman are going to make contact. Left front for Vroman, right rear for DeMade. Vroman goes towards the outside wall. Thought he had it safe. Does not. Ellison plows into him. DeMade's right there on the bottom. Oh, my Lord. Vroman goes for a heck of a ride.
That is probably the worst ride we've seen this season, if I had to guess.
And a couple others were involved in this as well.
Oh, man.
Had a hard time figuring out everybody that was in this.
Well, I can tell you who picked up 4 X's. It's Ellison, Short, Roman, DeMade, and Watson. I think a few other drivers are probably going to bang wheels on their way through this mess as well. But those are the drivers that certainly got the worst of it. Meatball flags for Ellison and Vroman, but not for DeMade, Short, or Watson.
Well, let's go ahead. We're going to take a kickpot cam view on board with Paul Ellison. Through turns 1 and 2 here.
And through the air, not much longer after that.
And you can see Ellison trying to get off the wall here. He is just glued to it. Serious, serious damage for him. let's take just one more little look with Steve Roman this time. And that is how quickly we go from 15 cars to maybe like 11.
13 for sure. And actually, I believe Neil Lusher has gotten back on the lead lap here.
All
So
right.
I think we're at 14. I mean, a few of those with some damage, but 14 is 14. You know what they say, 14 is 14. If you want, can we go rear chase with a couple of the drivers that were involved in that? Matthew Short, James Watson, Dakota DeMaine, see what we're rocking here in terms of some damage.
Well, I can try. I don't really have a rear chase cam with
Oh,
the
that's
set
right. Yes.
that I have now, but I can try to take like a TV, close TV camera here. Looking at Watson doesn't seem too bad. I don't really see a whole lot of, maybe a little bit on the right front. That right front wing, maybe a little bit there for Watson. Don't really see much on Lusher. Of course, he's been in and out of the pits trying to get some damage fixed. That's the one thing. Once you get damage fixed on these cars, it's kind of hard to tell where the damage is. It looks like Matt Short has some damage on the left front wing as well.
There are quite a few damaged dead spots where if you get hit really hard somewhere, it just may not register damage. It'll register 4X, but not give you any. We've seen that quite a few times where some people will take some cars quite literally off the dome, off of their faces, and won't pick up any damage because you can't damage the rim of the tub, really. I think Matthew Short just came back onto pit road. Or somebody did.
Yeah,
it is
was
Matt
Short.
So we should be coming to a restart here on lap 54.
Oh boy. Here's Paul in the chat.
Uh-oh.
Killed.
Yep. It looked killed. In line with your Scottish ancestry, it has been killed. Thank you.
Anytime.
Shout out to one of our regular competitors who is not with us here tonight, but Austin Lafferty normally would join us from the Scottish Highlands. So hello to you. It is probably about 1 in the morning there, if I had to guess. Maybe 2. Maybe coming up on 2 in the morning. All right, Christopher Kresge, Christopher Hill, Caleb Bensey, Ben Carswell, Victor Aldrich. Now your top 5. Ryan Dye lurking there in 6th. Kirk Lane in 7th. Hunter Engrave in 8th. Then Dakota DeMaine and Charles Grove back to the restart. Everybody should be good on fuel now. That's just a question of how long are we going to stay green.
How long will we stay green, and will we have the second overtime in Daredevil series history? Those are my key questions here.
Larry Mack's keys to the race as we are just about 3 wide here again. Kresge throwing the block on a Hill. Hill to the outside. Bensey to the outside. Bensey going to swoop down into the inside lane. He had a huge run there.
Oh, he doesn't have
And he
anywhere to go. He's
find
pushing
anywhere.
Kresge.
Wow. Ben Carswell rolling up into this 3-wide battle for the lead once again.
Oh, Kresge
Oh,
pushes up to
boy.
the middle of the racetrack. A crossover from Bensey. Christopher Hill continues to rail the outside.
Who is going to give? It might be Kresge. He's going to slot in on the bottom as Caleb Bensey showing the way. But here comes the cavalry behind Ben Carswell. Victor Aldrich, Ryan Dye, Dakota DeMade, all pulling right back up onto the scene here. DeMade actually fading away a little bit, but these top 6 are all running in line here on lap 57.
And here goes Hill underneath of Bensey. Kresge able to get the run as well.
Kresge with a run now on Hill for the lead, and he is going to stick it underneath there. Kresge back to the lead. Man, if we can keep these guys greens, this is some stellar racing here. These guys are putting on a heck of a show here tonight for you at Twin Ring Motegi. If you're enjoying it, hit like on the stream and comment who you're rooting for here in the closing laps here at Twin Ring Motegi here tonight.
It is stellar racing, but you know what? We only have 6 cars in this lead pack. Everybody else is fading. DeMade, Short, Watson, Kirk Lane, Neil Usher, and others are fading, and they want a caution to come out.
They may get one here as these top 3 continue to scrap away like it's the last lap.
Well, it's not just top 3 anymore. It's top 4. Carswell nearly looked to the inside of Bensey, who is on the very, very outside here, but thinks better of it.
Carswell could be the real difference maker here. If he picks a lane and sticks with it, who knows what's going to come of it. Here goes Bensey, really driving it in deep. Flies it 2 car lengths further than anybody else into that turn. I'm sure these guys are probably cracking the throttle here to try and save this right rear tire. But Bensey did not that time, I can tell you that for sure.
And Carswell is staying patient. He's had a couple of huge runs and has not elected to take them.
Kresge back to it here on the inside. Not quite clear on Bensey, but still going to stick to the bottom here.
Kresge drift. Oh, there's Kresge! He keeps it off the wall. He does keep it off the wall. And the caution is out.
Couple of drivers scattered across the way there. Better safe than sorry. Caution comes out for Christopher Kresge, but will come over the radio and apologize. Man. And Kresge's race by no means is over. He may have just nudged it into the inside wall there.
I actually don't even think he touched it at all. He kept the car extremely clean there.
And that's sort of what we were talking about versus Rockingham last week. Some room to do that if you would need to. But unfortunately, Kresge from the lead will bring out another caution.
Kresge working here on the bottom. We've seen a couple of spins through the bottom of turns 3 and 4 so far today. When you try to get back in the throttle, boy, really close there with Bensey as well. It just goes right around on him on the exit here of turn 4. Locks it up, turns the wheel to the right, keeps it rolling. Isn't quite able to keep it totally straight, but he's able to lock it up and stay off of the inside wall, and that is huge. Because there's no telling what's going to happen here. I mean, he could very well be towards the front of this thing by the end again. Let's take one more look here. We're going to go cockpit cam. I just want to show everybody what it's like and how quickly these things turn on you. Oh, before he knows it, he's around. Just keeps calm. Keeps it off the wall. That's about all you can do at that point, and it did a great job. And he will come in to get some service.
As will Charles Grove and Christian Arribas. We've still got Nate Siefker hanging out in the pits here. But everybody else that has picked up a meatball flag has headed out for the night, and understandably so, actually, except for Paul Ellison, who I believe is still here as well. Or at least he's still hanging out in the chat and in the Discord as well. But we've got 14 cars that are still motoring around. Everybody's on the lead lap. It's now Caleb Bency back in control. Christopher Hill in second. Need I remind anybody what these two got up to at the end of Lime Rock Park a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, I mean, certainly not just close racing on that one. That was contact racing at Lime Rock Park. And we're looking to renew the battle and the feud here at Twin Ring.
Well, these two have certainly been cutting it up all night, and they're no strangers how to do that. Just got a little bit too close, I believe, with 2 laps to go at Lime Rock Park. And it's never a good thing when one driver ends up basically on top of the other driver, but they were at least able to bring it home on the podium. And hoping to avoid a similar fate here tonight. Christopher Hill has been running inside of the top 3 at every single race this season and only has 1 podium finish. Got wiped out in an accident at Pocono, running in 3rd. And got wiped out pretty close to the front last week as well, maybe just inside of the top 5 at Rockingham.
You talked about it at the beginning of this broadcast, how there's a lot of drivers winless here in the series that have an opportunity to keep our new winner streak alive. Every race this season has been won by a new winner, and we have quite a few still here left on the lead lap. So very well could have another one. That would be something insane.
I'll do you one better here. 10 out of the 14 drivers still left in this race have yet to go to victory lane in the Daredevil series, including the race leader, Caleb Bency, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's hard to believe. I was kind of counting him as one of the winners. So, wow, even more so than I had thought.
Christopher Hill has 1, Dakota DeMade has 2, James Watson has 2, and as of a couple of weeks ago, Hunter Engrave has 1 as well. Those are the 4 that have them. Everybody else, quite a few of these drivers have come close, but have yet to go to victory lane. So that stat is looking pretty promising to continue here, unless Christopher Hill has something to say about it. But we're going to restart with 10 laps to go. Nothing is off the table at this point as long as you've got 4 wheels on the track.
4 wheels on the track and a heartbeat. I think you still have a chance to win this one.
Yeah, I think a few of these drivers battling for the win here are probably about to shoot the moon. Let's hope everybody can stay conscious here in the closing, 9 laps of this race? 10 laps of this race. And we tend to go when we come back to the line. Bency leading, Hill, Carswell, Aldrich, and Dye. DeMade, Short, Lusher, Watson, and Lane, your top 10. Engrave, Kresge, Grove, and Arribas still on the track here as well. 10-lap shootout at the Twin Ring Motegi. Big checkup further back in the pack there. And that may break this field back up again. That's exactly what these top 3 or 4 want to see.
Well, it did its job. There is a huge gap between 3rd and the rest of the field. The rest of the field is going to try to close that gap here as the top 3 go to battle.
And what's going to help is that Hill and Bency side by side. Now Hill will drive deeper. And there goes Hill right back to it on the bottom. This field is dangerously close. The 4th on back from Victor Aldrich on back are close to losing the draft here.
And Aldrich, I think, is gaining some ground. He's going to bring at least 3 with him, but then back to Matthew Short. It's a toss-up.
Bency and Hill jockeying for position on the track. Not just for the lead, but trying to outbox, outmaneuver the other. Aldrich is gaining on these top three. Carswell just lying in wait as Bensi and Hill continuing to battle for the lead.
And we've seen minimal mistakes from these two. They've been up front all night long. And usually we say if you're up front all night long, you have the best chance of probably going around. But these two have proven otherwise.
Carswell, Aldrich, and company all now in touch with these top two. Carswell has displayed some incredible patience not to get up in the mix here. As Hill tried to run Bensi out of room, out of turn 4, but Bensi's still got the run. Carswell now going to move down to the bottom, now going to move back up to the top. Thought about maybe making a move, but we'll continue to stay patient here. Waiting for a mistake from either one of the top two.
And it's the top 7 in this lead pack. Everybody else is out of the picture, I think, unless we get another caution.
Hill, Bensi, Carswell, Aldrich, DeMay, Dye, and Short. All in touch with the leaders here. Coming to 5 to go. Here goes DeMay looking underneath of Carswell now for 3rd. As Hill has the lead outright.
Really tight between Carswell and DeMay. They're able to keep it going. Wow,
Carswell now
outside.
We're going to be 4 wide. 4 wide into turn 3. DeMay rolls out of it, but still 3 wide. Bensi and Carswell.
Bensi's around. DeMay's into him.
Big trouble. Caution is out. And I think we're going to be going to overtime, if only by a lap.
Wow.
Man, oh man, that was always going to be tight. Talked about not wanting to be up in the gray. Carswell, the first time he really makes a move, finds himself on the outside of 3 wide, tries to keep it in the black a bit of pavement there. And Bensi, not a whole lot of room between the two.
Not at all. And you mentioned it, DeMay. He tried to make the smart move here and roll out of it, but there's incident anyways between Bensi and Carswell, and DeMay is a sitting duck with nowhere to go. He plows right into the 21 of Bensi, and Matthew Short squeezed through there. I'm not sure if there was contact or not. I actually want to rewind it here just for a second. We'll try to get a better look. See Matt Short squeeze through there. If there was contact, it was netcode contacts. I think he scraped by.
He will pick up a Phantom 4X, but hopefully no damage there.
Wow. I mean, staring down the barrel of 4 wide into turn 3, that is, you just don't see that every day.
So Carswell going to come out pretty nicely from that. He is still 2nd. And maybe a touch of damage there, but maybe not. Just a Phantom 4X for the contact with Bensi. Dakota DeMay definitely might have some damage, but he is still out there. So is Matthew Short. The only driver to come to pit road, in fact, is Caleb Bensi. And the good news for Bensi, no meatball flag, but certainly quite a bit of damage there. And even if there wasn't damage, we're coming more than likely to the last restart, and he's going to have to find a way to pass 13 cars in 2 laps. It's going to be tough.
Well, not more than likely. It will be one last restart. We're already down to 3 to go, which means we will have our overtime because the lights are still on the pace truck. So it will be 2nd overtime in series history.
Matthew Short. Oh, Ben Carswell, I think, just is locking up the tires. I don't know. Somebody is throwing up some smoke. Maybe that's just not real smoke, but I'm seeing it out of some people here.
Almost looked like it was from Christopher Hill, but to be honest, I'm not quite sure. And we've seen a couple of 1-lap dashes or 2-lap dashes in series history, and it seems like whoever leads that to green is usually the best chance, has the best chance at becoming the winner at the end of the race. It just takes a lap and a half or a couple laps for these cars to really get the energy to where they can get a big run on the leaders. So when you have a 1 or a 2 lap dash, you almost don't have enough time to gain that much ground on the person that starts the restart.
So this is point of no return. There will be no caution once the green flag is thrown. The next flag will be the white. The flag after that will be the checkers. If we wad them up at the line, we're going to keep on going until the checkers fly.
In true Daredevil fashion.
I mean, this has been the tamest oval race of the season so far. And what caution are we working right now? Has to be at least double digits.
No, it's not double digits. That was the 8th caution of the race.
Oh, wow. So, against all odds, we are not going to hit double-digit cautions here tonight.
No,
but I do want to say...
13 cars on the lead lap still.
Yeah, exactly. Still 14 cars running. Some of that is due, I think, to the fact that this track is a little bit bigger. But, I mean... I think maybe these drivers sort of calmed down a little bit, sort of are starting to keep the right rear tires, know how to keep the right rear tires in check. A lot of these drivers, remember, coming into the season, half of the people that registered for Daredevil were brand new to the series and maybe not familiar with how the Lotus 79 would drive, at least not on an oval. So these drivers have stepped it up here tonight. The racing here was not sure how this setup was going to play. But the racing, from our vantage point anyway, I think a couple of the drivers probably say otherwise, but the racing has been fantastic from an outsider's perspective.
Well, it's been fantastic, and we have a couple more laps to go. Tell us who you think is going to win this one if you're watching in the chat. We're in for a wild ride here.
14 cars here. Maybe not all of them competitive. If you're taking the green here, you've got a shot. Christopher Hill, Ben Carswell, Dakota Domain, Ryan Dye, Matthew Short, your top 5. Victor Aldrich in 6th. Christopher Kresge in 7th. James Watson, Neil Lusher, Kirk Lane. Outside of the top 10, Charles Grove, Christian Arribas, Hunter Engrave, and Caleb Bensing. Green flag is out. 2 laps to go.
We are 3 wide across the line farther back. That was around 7th place, I think.
Hill desperately trying not to be a sitting duck. Top 4 broken away. White flag, Christopher Hill the leader. Carswell in 2nd, Demade and Dye.
Carswell with a pretty big run through turns 1 and 2.
Demade trying to spoil the party. 3 wide for the lead. Ryan Dye to help Hill on the inside.
Oh, Carswell with an inch and he's loose. He's
at
around the line.
Christopher Hill is going to win it. Ryan Dye in 2nd. They're wrecking behind.
And Carswell gets sent to the pits. And Demade never crossed the line. He's finally going to roll across all the way back in 13th.
But 2nd career Daredevil Series victory for Christopher Hill. And they've both come on ovals. Ryan Dye and Matthew Short going to be on the podium here tonight. Crazy.
And we'll take a look back at the replay of that finish here after we let Christopher Hill, the 101, get his due. The victory celebration for the 2-time winner.
He's run so well here this season. It's the first oval race he's going to finish, and he's going to finish at P1.
Alrighty, well, Christopher Hill finishes up his celebration. Let's go ahead and take a look at the replay real quick, and then we'll get to the finishing order. Gonna back it up just a little bit here because we want to see this entrance into the corner. It's Hill and Dye on the inside. Carswell in the middle, Dakota DeMade on the outside. Carswell is where this one is going to start. Carswell gets super loose. Look at that right rear tire step out on him. I can't believe it didn't go around right there. He tries his best to save it. And as soon as he tries to get back on the gas, he's trying to throw a little block, it seems, on DeMade, and there's some contact here. And Carswell is just going to turn sideways. And they will both go flying. Carswell, oh man, somebody plows right into him. A couple of cars, actually. He will end up, I think, through the catch fence. Oh, yes.
Oh, no. Never what you want to hear.
Very much, very much so, yes. Go ahead. I want to take a view from the cockpit. You can see him fighting that wheel. Oh, just nowhere he could go. And that is the ride from Ben Carswell. Unbelievable.
Oh man. Well,
alrighty.
I tell you what here, partner. Let's do our interviews first. We'll come back to the finishing order, if that's all right with you.
Well, you run the show around here, so let's go ahead and do it.
Oh, I tell you what, I want to get this guy up here as soon as possible because it's been way too long. And we finally get to talk to our buddy Matthew Short, who is going to finish third here tonight. Back on the podium. Welcome back to the Daredevil series.
It's great to be back. I've missed this so much, guys. That was a race throughout the whole thing.
I mean, you were one of many drivers that sort of got caught in the revolving door of working your way up through the fields, having a car land on you or near you or something, and then having to go to the back and do it all over again. Yeah, you definitely had to work for it here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I had speed, and even after that incident with, I believe it was Ruman, I think he lost it in T2, and as he came around, he hit the right side of my car, but it caused left side damage.
What?
And yes, and then even after I finally got it fixed, it was that phantom damage that was left over. So I was even down on top speed through that last bit of the race.
Now, you're the last driver to catch up after the restart games there. It's basically, is it lie and wait? Is it try and make something happen? What's the strategy there through the final lap?
Due to the damage that I had and the obvious disadvantage, it was lie and wait. I was more worried about Kresge. Honestly, during that restart, I was gonna fight for fifth. I want the top five. That's all I wanted. I would have been happy with a fifth, and then obviously the incident, which I didn't get to see yet, coming out of 3, definitely helped with that because me and Kresge were going at it. I don't know if you saw at the end there, where once it did happen, I came up right in front of Kresge, and Kresge did not lift. He just shoved me right across the start finish, which, as he should, it's final lap, final straightaway. Yeah, go for it.
Matt, what do you got for Matt? It's been too long since I've said that.
Well, since he got a podium tonight, I'm going to leave all the hostility aside.
Oh, boy.
It's great to
What you got? What you got? What you got?
Hey, my main question is, how is Norma doing? I think we all want to know.
Man, we're trying to get her bail. This podium's for Norma out there. I'm just trying to get my Chick-fil-A biscuits, and she's getting, whooped by the police. Norma, I hope you're out there. We're all rooting for you, Norma.
Man of the people, Matthew Short.
Man of the people.
Wow. Well, is there anybody else that might be watching here tonight that you want to shout out here?
I mean, I just got to shout out all the TWR guys. There's a million of us. Obviously, I want to congratulate Christopher Hill, teammate, great guy. I also want to shout out the Stone Motorsports guys. They're a good group of good dudes. Big friends with them. Stayed with them in their house for the Indy 500 this year, and just good group of dudes, and just the whole community here that you guys have created here in the Turn 200. You guys are great broadcasters, and the community's been nothing but outstanding. Even though I can't race as much as I used to because of work, but you guys do an outstanding job, and just everyone involved.
We're happy to have one of the Daredevil goats back with us here tonight, and you're back on your rightful step on the podium here tonight. Congrats. We hope to see you again soon. We hope to talk to you again soon, but take care in the meantime.
You too. You gentlemen have a good night.
All right. Back in booth 200 now. First time in the Daredevil series. Runner-up Ryan Dye. Welcome. You're another one of those drivers. Maybe you weren't up as at the front as much as some of the other drivers here tonight, but you got a good look at pretty much all that Twin Ring Motegi had to offer here tonight. What are some of your thoughts here?
Yeah, I saw everything because I was back there behind everything for the most part. I love this track in everything I've ever driven it in, and that it's going to extend to these now. This was a blast. I mean, I have a plan this season, and it's to win the 0-0 challenge. And I feel like if I do that, then I am going to finish up close to the front. And maybe one day I'll get lucky and the leader will spin and I'll get a win.
I mean, you were awfully close to that happening tonight. I mean, everybody that is a regular here on Turn 200 has seen you in Truck 200 and seen you in the Venom Truck Series, and those what you're capable of as a driver. It's not shocking to us at all to see how quickly you've taken to this. But what's been the biggest part of the learning curve, you think, for you?
Strategy. The right rears wear on these things so wild. Sometimes I'm like, I should pit here, right? Obviously, we need to pit. We've been on these tires for 35 laps. But then, like, do you really? You know what I mean? Can I just go, like, top off on fuel and still be fine? It's kind of what I did at Rockingham last week. So I still haven't figured it out yet, but I like to think I'm getting there. I pit on the second lap of that one, the last time everybody pit. I made a decision to pit the second time around, and I asked Vroman and Ellison in my chat, what do you think? Did I make a really dumb decision here to go from 4th to 15th? And they said, well, if we wreck, you can just wave at us and smile as we look dumb. And then 3 laps later. So, I mean, maybe I made the right decision. I don't know. I do feel like I'm going to get more aggressive as this season goes, and I'm learning these cars. They are such a blast to drive. I just have to figure out how to go, John K level all out, and also have the tire saving ability of like Nathan.
That's a perfect analogy for anybody who follows the Truck Series. Matt, what do you got for Ryan here?
Man, congratulations. It's great to see you up here on the podium in a different series, and one that is near and dear to our hearts, and you're finding yourself having a lot of fun, so that's awesome. There on that last restart, I wasn't even sure that you were going to be able to make a run towards the lead. Wasn't sure there was going to be enough time. When you're coming out of turn 2, and you are obviously going to have a run to the leaders down that backstretch, what is going through your mind?
There was a brief moment where I said, yesterday was America's birthday, and we should light some fireworks and take this 4 wide into turn 3.
Oh boy!
It very briefly almost happened, and then the guy on my left shoulder was like, "You're dumb. Just take the bottom, and at worst you're gonna finish like 3rd." And the way that this wacky point series works, I'm now 4th in the points. So
there you go.
And I've missed a race. So I'll take a 900 points for second place.
800.
800. I'll take 800 points for second place. But I don't know, maybe when we get later in the season, when we go to somewhere, like Michigan or something, I might throw it 4 wide into turn 3.
Well, we're looking forward to that, but it feels like it's been too long since we've had you up here in booth 200. So let's get some shout-outs going.
Shout out to you guys.
Oh.
I love you guys. Except for Matt, because he doesn't. He says
Yes.
Buffalo Wild Wings is D tier, and that really hurt me. My therapist and I are still working through this.
That is an L take if I've ever heard one. I do have to flame you on air.
No,
But,
we'll
yeah,
have to take a poll in the community here someday.
Yeah, thanks to y'all. I love all 3 series that I run that are under the Turn 200 brand. Thanks to my teammates, quasi. There's not really is there really teams in this series?
No, there are there are no teams. That's a hard rule. No
it's like
teams.
a loosely defined conglomerate of
There you go.
like-minded people. So Paul and Vermin were in there with me tonight. Yeah, thanks to the league. This, like I said, I love this series. I get so jacked when I wake up and it's Wednesday and I know that we're gonna go Daredevil racing that night. So, yeah, thank you, America.
There
Happy
you
birthday.
go.
Freedom,
Thank
baby.
you, America, and happy birthday from Ryan Dye and from us here. Appreciate the time. Looking forward to seeing you back up here very, very soon.
All right, let's get after it.
And now we're going to go ahead and make a hot swap here and bring in your race winner for the second time in his career. It is the 101 of Chili Wonka, Christopher Hill. He is back on the top step here tonight. Welcome back. Crazy race here tonight. How does it feel to come out on top of all the chaos here tonight?
Wow, definitely happy about that. I felt pretty good going through, practice there. We were towards the top of the sheets there, and then it was definitely an interesting race. Lots of chaos. I had a few bullets I had to dodge at some point in time there, and somehow survived. And didn't know how it was going to go at the end there. It looked like being out in the lead, a couple laps to go. I thought for sure someone was going to go, get by, but it all kind of went the right way. So pretty happy with it.
I think we saw you be all parts of the sandwich here tonight. The outside, you were on the inside, you were in the middle. It's a place that you would have rather been in an ideal scenario at any time.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting because going into 3, like, you could defend from a lot of different positions, but it all depends, how much alongside the other person was. And, sometimes I was able to hold the high side and be okay. Sometimes it was the low side, but, it's tricky. There's definitely, it's also, you're also walking a knife edge there, and in turns 3 and 4, that's usually where the car kind of throws a dagger at you. So, I would prefer everybody on the outside, like we had on the last lap there for the most part. I think if I'd been on the inside or the other way around, it might have been a little harder to hold the position, but who knows? all worked out in the long run, so that's all that matters. Yeah.
Now, we didn't quite get to see this one through to the finish, but it was not shocking to me, at least, that you and Caleb Bensley were back up front trading paint and rubbing wheels for the lead there.
Yeah, he's always there. He's always strong, and so I was thinking it was going to be him and me towards the end there for the win. Maybe somebody else in the mix. Dakota was starting to get up there, and then things just kind of didn't go his way there, it seemed like, and unfortunate for him that he ended up having. Did he get crashed out there a couple laps there? Yeah, that's what it looked like. Yeah, so it was a bummer. Would have been nice to battle it to the end, but there's always next week. So,
Matt, what do you got?
First of all, congratulations. You were up front all night, and you always seem to be. You're always fast, and you always kind of push towards the front. I mean, when you're coming into a race that you know is going to be kind of wild like this one, is there any part of you that wonders if you should kind of lay back because the incidents always seem to happen right at the front, or is it just always balls out for you?
Well, I mean, there's definitely different ways to approach it. Like Wags likes to hang out in the back at times, it seems like, and kind of try to avoid it there. But I feel like there's more cars to dodge if you're farther back. You know what I mean? So sometimes it can end up working out in your favor being back there because you're not in the mix. But I feel like if I've only got to dodge like 2 or 3 cars when a crash happens, I've got a better chance than if it's 10 or something. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it hasn't always worked for me though. I mean, obviously, I've had a couple races already this season that we've been towards the front and had a chance, and then got collected up in something else, and so it's definitely a risk being up there. But I don't know. Like, if it's going to be a big crash, I'd rather have less to dodge. Is kind of been my mindset. So, I don't know.
It does make perfect sense to me. That's just sort of the luck of the draw, I think, sometimes with this sort of pack style racing that we tend to get on most of the ovals. But you come out ahead of it all here tonight. You're on the top step of the podium once again. Let's get some shout-outs going for you.
Big thanks to Team Watson Racing. They're a great group of guys. Their setup shop is amazing. If you guys anybody's out there looking for some setups in iRacing, check them out. Precision Racing Instruction, that's my company. I basically train people in real world for the most part, but I'll help you out in the sim if you need a little hand. And I guess if anybody's looking for a little tune-up or anything like that, feel free to reach out. We'll do what we can to help you out. And thanks to you guys for bringing back the series. This is one of my favorite cars to run on, in iRacing, and it's just a fun series. And somehow this car is an animal with the setups that we run in Daredevil. So it definitely makes it interesting and a lot of fun to try to make it to the finish and be fast and all that. So I really enjoy it.
Sometimes they're an animal on purpose. I don't think tonight was supposed to be one of those nights, but it certainly happened. But you tamed the beast that is Twin Ring Motegi here tonight. Second career victory. Go party hard. We hope to talk to you again here real soon. And I'm thinking probably with Suzuka next week. There's a good chance of that.
I sure hope so. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, looking forward to it. See you next week.
See ya. Alrighty. Let's get a finishing order in here if we can. I don't know. I think the server may have closed. Can you still get a finishing?
Certainly can. I absolutely. Right. Let's go.
All right. Christopher L. Ryan Dye, Matthew Short, your podium here tonight. It is the second career 4th place finish for Christopher Kresge, and I mistakenly said 4th was his best career finish. He actually got a podium last season, and I forgot about that. But still, third top 5 for Christopher Kresge in his career here tonight. Victor Aldrich, first career top 5. I wish we could have got to talk to driver number 98 here tonight. He's certainly had a lot of support in the driving ranks here. But it's awesome that he's out here running with us, and it's great to see him get a top 5 here tonight. It's great to see Neil Rusher back. He just posted in the chat, 77 laps, 1 doorbell answered, 2 laps down, 2 lucky dogs, 1 top 10, and 0 incidents. That is a night for the 808. He finishes 6th here tonight. James Watson took some damage early, but will finish in 7th. Kirk Lane, a top 10 finish here tonight in 8th. Charles Grove, 2nd consecutive 9th place finish, I do believe. And Christian Arribas, a top 10 for him here tonight. Hunter Engrave will hang on for 11th. Caleb Bensey will finish then in 12th. Dakota DeMade, the last car running technically in 13th, as Ben Carswell finishes his race in amongst the people in the grandstands. So he finishes 14th. Then it is DNFs from here on out. Steve Roman in 15th, Paul Ellison in 16th, John Begley in 17th. The former points leader Nicholas Isidro in 18th, Logan Spath in 19th. Cody Claiborne in 20th, Zachary Flaum 21st, Ty Richter 22nd, Matt Wagner, and Nate Siefker, your 24-car field here tonight at Twin Ring Motegi, round number 4 of the 3rd season of the Daredevil series. Well, how do you sort of put a bow on a night like this? It was a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything indeed. I mean, all in all, you just can't go wrong. It is always a great show when the Daredevil series is in town. And our folks at Twin Ring got another one here tonight. Very much looking forward to getting a little bit full on our schedule coming up here in the next few weeks and for the foreseeable future. So a lot going on here.
Certainly. Like I said, it's our first Triple Dipper week next week. A lot going on, as we've got Tuesday night trucking with the Venom Truck Series. Their series debut at New Hampshire is next Tuesday night. We are back in action next Wednesday night with the Daredevil Series, 25 laps at Suzuka. The full Monty there, the big road course with the bridge, it's all going to be right there. The most traditional race you will see, certainly this season, maybe ever, in the Daredevil Series. And then Maximum Velocity Racing League will make its full debut next Thursday night with their first race in over, I believe, 4 or 5 years. And that will be at the new Atlanta Motor Speedway. So 3 pretty crazy races, I would say, next week. If you want to be here, which we want you to be here, the best way to make sure that you're here on time for all 3 is to hit the subscribe button on your way out of the stream here tonight. Hit the like while you're down there as well. And hit the bell so you know exactly when we are going live with all 3 of those streams. Next week, it is going to be a full slate. And the slate is going to get a little bit more full here very soon as well. In about a month's time, Truck 200 will be back. If you didn't see it in our Discord today, first of all, you need to make sure you're in the Discord. So go join the Discord if you're not in there already. But Truck 200 Season 2 registration is open. The schedule has been finalized. So come be a part of some Monday night trucking with us here in our flagship broadcast, Truck 200. Intense, long-form truck racing action. And it is going to be a blast again with another pretty good schedule, if I do say so myself, because I made the schedule, so of course I have to like it at least a little bit. I'm going to stop rambling now. We're going to go ahead and send this one home for everybody here with the Daredevil series. Shout out to all the drivers. For the GOAT, Mr. Matt Williamson, I've been Tommy Cook. Until we meet again, we say so long from the Twin Ring Motegi Oval, where Christopher Hill takes his second career Daredevil Series victory. Have a good night, everybody.